What's going on YouTube? Diggy546. So, Micah Parsons. Now, all field stuff aside, locker room terror aside, I'm going to assume that all of that stuff is fake. I'm going to evaluate him strictly as a prospect. And our linebacker coach, Professor Chaos, that's what they're calling him, he was just at Penn State last year. The last year that Micah Parsons, all of these plays that you see Micah Parsons making, Sean Spicer, pretty sure that's his name, he was the coach for Micah Parsons. And all of these plays that you see him making, so he should know him better than anybody else. So with the character thing, if we pass on Parsons, you know that the character thing is a real issue. But all of that stuff aside, Micah Parsons to the Giants, a lot of people are projecting him as an inside linebacker, as a run and hit linebacker, as someone who's probably going to run a 4-4, who they think can do a lot of coverage. And I think, sure, he has the potential to do that. I'll start off just looking at him in inside linebacker. He played a lot of outside linebacker, actually. A lot of Sam in a 4-3, a lot of on the edge. But let's look at him at inside linebacker first. He's going to be in coverage on this snap. Number 11 right here. He's going to be in coverage. And he's going to make a decent play on the ball. He has all the athleticism in the world. He has all the athleticism to do it. So he's going to, drop. And college is college, but this guy looks like a receiver. He may be a running back, but he looks like a receiver. And he's going to hit him with a double move and break inside. And Parsons just beats him inside. Now, this looks like he dropped the interception. But this is the kind of play that he can make in open space, if he doesn't have to think too much. And that's my thing, is he doesn't have the best instincts to play middle linebacker. I think he can be a good middle linebacker, but I don't think that he has those instincts to be an effective, consistent, every down middle linebacker, especially in coverage. I just don't see it. He's not the first one to the ball. When you watch him on tape, he's not necessarily the best. He's not that guy who's always the first person to the football. He's just not that. He's not. So I would want him to move him to one side. So Micah Parsons, number 11 right here. And what he's going to do is something great. He does a great job diagnosing the run. And he does a great job, finally showing off some instincts that I don't see from him enough. I just don't see this from him enough. But this is a good play. This is what he can do physically. He's going to immediately, just trust his instincts. And this is something that I love about these athletic linebackers, and not necessarily the most athletic linebackers, but the linebackers that have the ability to play sideline to sideline. When they cut up the field to go get a runner in the backfield, they go directly to him. It's none of that. You see some guys like this guy right here. He's kind of, I was going to say gerrymander. He's kind of lollygagging, all the way here because he doesn't trust his speed. Micah Parsons doesn't have an issue with speed. So he just runs him down. And that's a great play. It's fairly easy to diagnose. That's why I won't go too crazy. You see it, the running back has it. It's probably his assignment to follow him. If the quarterback keeps this, it looks like they might be able to do something with it. But Parsons is just going to diagnose it and just run him down. What he's going to do is show great hands, show great speed and shiftiness to beat the block, and then make a great tackle. I think this ends up being for a loss. Let's check it out. He's going to, do something that you see a lot of DBs doing. A lot of the best run stopping DBs, when they get into that line of scrimmage, they're very good at getting skinny and staying on their toes. So that way he's able to just kind of sidestep this guy and just make this tackle at the line of scrimmage. So that's something that he has the potential to do. This is something that he can do. Not get blocked. Uses athleticism and stonewall someone. He has all of the physical tools. And then for this particular play, this is kind of a fundamental issue I kind of have with him. Just because he's athletic doesn't mean that he's the best at changing directions and coverage, the best at trying to read what's in front of him and reacting. You can have all the athleticism and agility you want. If you're not able to really react in real time with that, it doesn't really matter. And this is just kind of just a poor backpedal. This is kind of really nitpicky, but this is kind of a poor backpedal here from number 11. And he's going to just backpedal, and he's kind of off balance. He's backpedaling straight up. Like I said, really nitpicky, but you would love for him to really kind of know what's going on around him and to be more on balance. Because as you see him start to stand straight up, he's kind of off balance. I don't like him the best at middle linebacker, but I'm not here to say that he's not still a very valuable pick at middle linebacker. I would just need someone that knows how to use him. I would need someone that knew how to use him, and I think Patrick Graham would know how to use him. And he's best going forward. And this is going to eventually transition to my third section of this video, but he's best going forward. Get him going forward as much as you can. Get him just, reading as little as you need him to, and just attack what's in front of him. Here's number 11 right here. And he's going to just get forward, easily, shed that block, and get a hit on the quarterback. Now, I don't have the all 22 angle of this, but he usually does a great job engaging with blocks. You see here, this is kind of toast. I mean, for this center to snap the ball and then be able to pick up someone this athletic that's being able to attack one side of him that's kind of already bending. I mean, the center isn't used to someone bending on him like that. So that's easy money for him. And Giants fans, if you're watching, just think of how Carter Coughlin was used against Russell Wilson and how effective he was. Now imagine Micah Parsons in that same role. Micah Parsons could do a great job being a quarterback spy in this league on the mobile quarterbacks and pretty much neutralizing them. He could do a really great job at that. So as you're going to see, he's going to come out and he's basically just spying this guy. He's going to blitz and spy. Let's see if you can see him. Number 11 right here. He's just going to blitz. And once he sees the quarterback take off, he's just going to go get him. And I think he can do that at an elite level. Anything in front of him where he's not focusing on coverages, where he's not focusing on misdirections in the run, he can do a really great job doing that. And then watch here, number 11. You're going to get a nice rip move on the offensive lineman. I think this is the same center. He's just going to come off the ball and rip and go get the quarterback. You got to love it. I mean, he's so great at attacking what's in front of him. And you already know where I'm going with this. So now that we've made it so far, you all understand probably the direction that I'm going. I think that Micah Parsons can be an edge rusher in this league. Now, there's some development that needs to happen, but I think in the 3-4 or even in the 4-3, remember when Von Miller came into the league, he was a 4-3 Sam. He was a 4-3 outside linebacker, and he blitzed on third down. Sometimes he covered. Micah Parsons could do something similar. Now, of course, he would need a lot more development than Von Miller because Von Miller was more of an established edge rusher coming out of college. But I think he could be an elite pass rusher in this league with the physical tools that he has and the raw ability to get to the quarterback from wherever he's lined up at. Now, you're going to see him on these next couple of plays line up on the edge pretty much. Sometimes kind of in a more traditional Sam 4-3 outside linebacker role. And then sometimes, with his hand in the dirt. But this particular play, we're going to see him come off the ball and do a really great job in the run. So here's number 11 right here. And let's get it going. So Parsons is going to do a really great job of watching what's in front of him, identifying who has the ball, and pretty much disengaging and getting the blocker out of his way and going to make the tackle. So he's going to come off the ball, identify who has the ball. Once he sees this running back, he's got 42 on his hip, and he just goes and makes a nice tackle for a loss. And this is coming off of the edge, people. And you're going to see 11 right here again. Just raw speed and bend off of the edge. Now, he has a running start here, so it's not the best example, but he's going to kind of, line up. And he's just going to time the snap perfectly. That's one thing that he does great as a blitzing linebacker. Time the snap perfectly. This tackle right here has to pretty much choose who he wants to block. But notice how Parsons is able to dip his shoulder and bend this corner and pretty much almost get to the quarterback. And I'm not the only one who thinks that he have a great shot at being an edge rusher. Here, number 11, you see him lined up with his hands in the dirt. He's got his hands in the dirt, and he does a great job coming off the ball. I mean, explosive get off. I think that's pretty explosive. For someone who's not used to putting their hands in the dirt, and the fact that in the NFL, wherever he lines up, he'll probably be standing up. But for him to come out of that stance, out of that 3-point stance, he's got one hand in the dirt. So for him to come out of that stance and get the edge and bend like that, I mean, that's amazing. And it's not that much of a projection to put him as an edge rusher. I mean, of course he will be on an every down basis, someone who will be lining up over a tackle. Sometimes I think they would put him in coverage. Sometimes, they love to move people around. So in the Giants defense, I think Micah Parsons would be an edge rusher. He would be an inside linebacker. He played both sides. I think they move him around a lot. And he'd be an inside blitzer. They love to use Blake Martinez the same way. My thing is Micah Parsons really the cover guy that we want? But let's let this run. This is number 11, Micah Parsons here. And he's going to put a move on this offensive lineman. And this is what I mean. He's established as a pass rusher. He's an elite pass rusher, whether it be a Devin White. Shout out to LSU Devin White going to the Super Bowl this year as an elite inside linebacker on the blitz, getting sack after sack. But let's watch this. Watch the spin. Watch the spin. Does this look? I mean, can you hear Dwight Freeney? Do you see Dwight Freeney? Look at the spin. Look at the torque. How his hand is like bending backwards. Like it's like a superhero spin. Watch the spin and then go get the quarterback. Now he didn't get the quarterback, but it just shows you the type of athleticism and how comfortable he is going forward and rushing the quarterback. I mean, this offensive lineman is in the dirt. He completely missed his punch. So, to give my final thoughts on Micah Parsons, of course, the off-field stuff is incredibly concerning. If any of that is true, I just can't see a team taking him in the first round, maybe in the 20s or 30s, but that is some very questionable information. That is some information that can make you completely take him off your board as a team. But if that stuff is hogwash, and if the Giants coach that was just on Penn State last year, who was just coaching them, if he's able to say that this dude is a good kid and he's, all that stuff isn't true, I wouldn't be mad if he was on the Giants. Now, I've kind of highlighted where I thought that he'd be the best. I think he can be an inside linebacker. He can be elite in the right defense as an inside linebacker, kind of like how I was alluding to with Devin White, even though I feel like Devin White is a lot more natural as a coverage guy and as pretty much an instincts guy in the inside. But if you were to put Micah Parsons in the Giants scheme or in the Dolphins or Patriots scheme where you move your linebackers around inside and out, I think he could excel. I think Patrick Graham could line him up on the edge his fair share of times. He will be able to get pressure. I think you could send him on blitzes from the middle. And I think maybe you might be able to train him to use his physical tools to be an elite coverage linebacker. If not, then you just have someone who's a playmaker. He's going to be able to make plays. And he's an elite athlete. And you don't really get too much of that at the linebacker position. And the Giants, they don't really have that. Blake Martinez has been great, but he's not that elite athlete. And maybe Blake Martinez can coach him up. He can kind of learn some of those instincts and, fundamentals from him. And he could be an elite player. But I would not be mad if Micah Parsons came to the Giants. But, I mean, he would need to be used in the right way. And I have all faith that Patrick Graham could use him the right way. So, off the field stuff aside, Micah Parsons is worth a top 7 pick in this draft, in my opinion. I really believe that. I mean, I believe that if that stuff isn't true, he's in play for the Eagles. He really is. He's a great player. And he's going to be an elite player. I mean, if he goes into the right way, I think the Eagles are on a 4-3. Him as a 4-3 Sam will still be elite. So you guys let me know what you think of Micah Parsons. How much does the off the field stuff bother you? It bothers me a lot. But let me know what you think of him in a football aspect. And would you mind if the Giants took him? So if you made it this deep into the video, I'm calling you a D6 squad member. If you're a D6 squad member, you got to hit that subscribe button. You got to turn on that notification bell. And listen, I make all kinds of content for NFL teams. So if you're not a Giants fan, don't worry. I'll cover your team. If I'm not covering your team, let me know. And have a good one.